What's going on? It's Najee Lopez, and you're watching Toe to Toe TV.
Hey, what's up, savages? This is Coach Chip, and you're watching Toe to Toe TV. Hey, we're just gonna jump right into it. This Keyshawn Davis, De Los Santos, Edwin De Los Santos fight is gonna be lit. It's either going to be the businessman is ready to do business, or it's going to be the businessman was doing a little bit too much business. This last press conference they was doing for the day, Keyshawn was all over the place. Keyshawn was he was beefing with Nahir Albright with his brother. He was calling out Abdullah Mason. He was beefing and pushing Edwin De Los Santos on the stage. He either, I say, he lit and he ready to put on a show, or he's doing too much business. He's doing too much business. And we all know how that thing plays out when you got a young man. He's full of testosterone and he ready to put on a show, and he's doing it at home. So it's either he gonna crash and burn, or he gonna fly high and send a message and put on a grand performance. I think it's a lot been played into Edwin's. There's been a lot been played into his inactivity. After the Keyshawn Davis fight, he hasn't fought. That was his last time he fought. He said he had a blood clot. He had a blood clot in his leg, I believe. He was going through a lot of situations and circumstances to get to this point. But I will say this: he looked focused. You know what I mean? He looks focused, and we all know that he can punch. He come to fight. Now, my take, I'm thinking that if Keyshawn I think if he stays in the pocket a little too long, he can make it a fight harder than what it should be. He in his mind, he keeps saying, well, not in his mind, out verbally, he keeps saying that he's going to knock him out. He's going to knock him out. And one thing about boxing, if you close enough to knock somebody out, you close enough to get knocked out. And Edwin can punch. So, that right there is a telltale sign of a lot of variables, a lot of things that's in the making of a upset. You know what I mean? It can be an upset. Not saying that it will be, but it's a lot of things that's stirring around in that pot. That can foil the main event for the A side. Like I said, you fighting at home. You got your homeboys there. You trying to put on a show. You trying to please the crowd. You being entertaining, and you getting in the mix with a power puncher that's always dangerous. Edwin got to be one of the most dangerous people in that weight class, as far as one hitter quitter goes, a power. He can crack. And Keyshawn, he's more than willing to mix it up. That's my only concern. I think that if he boxes and he systematically breaks him down, and if the knockout is there, and if it's not, it's not. You keep your discipline about yourself, and you work your game plan, because the game plan to just come in there and knock him out, and he keeps saying it, is not a great game plan for me. So just looking at it, and it's a decent undercard. You got Nahir Albright and Keyshawn's older brother getting ready to fight. They was beefing and chirping at each other. He said that he's going to knock him out. He said, Nahir Albright's, I think his nickname is Woo. So he was saying, Keyshawn brother saying he's got to go in two, you know. And then you got Abdullah Mason. He's fighting. I forget the guy's name, man. The African guy's name is just escaped me. But the guy came in. He was focused too. He said that it's a pleasure to fight him. One thing that he did say though, he said he didn't see anything special about Abdullah. I was like, okay. Keyshawn said he called Abdullah out sitting right next to him when the interviewer was talking to Abdullah. Keyshawn asked Abdullah, like, what you want to do? What do you want to do? He stood up and he said, this is why I was saying the variables for things to be for upset. You know, the businessman might be doing a little bit too much business because Abdullah Mason is getting interviewed about his fight that he has to fight come Saturday with another power puncher. And, you know, of course the interviewers, they gotta stir the pot a little bit and, you know, ask questions and everything like that about what he wants to do in the future. And Abdullah looked like, you know, he's a bright young man. He's a sharp young man. What he says is just as calculated as his performances are in the ring. So he was more so concentrating on the lady's questions about the fighter until she flipped it and asked him, you know, what his future endeavors were and stuff like that. And Keyshawn was like, oh yeah, about fight me. Like, what do you want to do? What you want to do? Hey Bob, you the man with the plan. Make it happen. And so when he asked Abdullah Mason what he wanted to do, Abdullah Mason hesitated because he was focused on the guy that's in front of him that he has to fight. And Keyshawn was like, oh yeah, see, so he don't, what you want to do? You know, he was going on and agitating him. And, you know, Abdullah was like, well, you know, I'm pretty sure my team can put something together. And he said that, Keyshawn said that Abdullah has been fighting journeymen and bums and, you know, stuff like that. Was kind of like Keyshawn just wanted all the smoke. He wanted all the smoke. He already fought Nahir and beat him, and his brother was going back and forth. He was in the middle of that conversation when they was in the face off and all that kind of stuff like that. So we're gonna see if this is, you know, that like I say, that's a double-edged sword. I'm a coach, you know, and when I'm talking to my fighter, I just want him to be keyed in and focus on the moment and what's going on, and bringing in that 8 weeks and 9 weeks of training camp for whatever he's doing that day, that moment. You know what I mean? You don't really, but some people can multitask though. You know what I mean? Some people can multitask. Some people good at talking trash. Some people are motivated by that. You know what I mean? With how much trash Floyd was talking to Oscar when he first got on, because Oscar made Floyd the superstar that he is today. That fight with him made him a superstar. And, you know, Floyd was all over the place and, you know, talking trash to Oscar and everything like that. But Keyshawn was talking trash to everybody. He was talking trash to everybody. He was talking trash a little bit to the lady that was hosting the show and things like that. So, you know, he's just ready. He's more than ready. And sometimes you can be too ready. You know what I mean? Those types of situations where I'm going to see if he can really dial in, because that mental aspect of that big step up. This is a huge step up with Edwin De Los Santos, him facing Edwin De Los Santos, where he can be in danger the whole time for however long the fight lasts. Even if De Los Santos is hurt, he can be in danger. And this is, like I said, this is a huge step up. So for me as a coach, that mental part of that game, if you got enough time, you can stand in front of a bird and teach him how to talk, you know. if you got enough time. So what I'm saying is a lot of people talk, but a lot of people cannot execute the game plan that they're talking about. So far, he's been able to do that, but he hasn't been in danger with a real dog, a real puncher like Edwin either. Now, with Edwin being out this long, on the flip side, and being blood clots are serious. You know what I mean? I had an experience with a blood clot with a huge, awesome athlete by the name of Tommy Frazier. That was real big in Nebraska in college. We were at the Gainesville Invitational in Florida, and we was running track out there, and he was doing the long jump, and he was just, I mean, Tommy was a great athlete. That's one of Bud's favorite athletes. Yeah, Bud. Tommy from Bradenton, Florida. That's where I'm at right now. But anyways, he was doing the long jump, and he went to Manatee High School. Dude was like incredible. Man, dude can throw like 60, 70 yards kneeling down. But he had blood clots and in his legs. When we we was kids, 18, 17, 18 years old, and he was out there and he was doing the long jump, and he jumped out something crazy, just a regular jump. And he came back, he was rubbing his legs, and they had to have the ambulance come out there and escort him off of the field right in front of everybody. It was a crazy situation because his legs just froze up. They just was damn near paralyzed. So I don't know how extreme that was in De Los Santos, but after Tommy rehabilitated, if you know anything about football and Nebraska football, you can go and look at him, and he's you can see him doing his thing. So, and that was I think the very next year or the year after. But anyways, it really, that thing shut him down. So I seen that firsthand. So when he said that, I was just like, whoa. I thought about that experience, and I was like, we're gonna see what he can do, because any kind of debilitating situation like that in there with a dog like Keyshawn, he is a hunter. He's going out. He's a shark in the water. If it's any kind of blood, he's coming to get it. He is coming to get that, and he going to do his thing. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be an obstacle that we're going to see. It's a character thing to see how De Los Santos is going to be able to deal with that, if that's still an issue, which I will hope that is not, with him agreeing to take this fight and fight Keyshawn. And Keyshawn is he's coming to make a statement. And even though they're homeboys, him and Shakur, with that competitive nature that they have, Shakur stunk up the joint. You know what I mean? And I'm a Shakur fan, but when he fought De Los Santos, he stunk up the joint. You know what I mean? There was a lot of running, this, that, and the third, and because Keyshawn is not he don't have head movement, pull counters, and slipping. He's all hands and feet. His transition from offense to defense with his hands and feet is like nothing I've ever seen outside of maybe Roy Jones and Floyd. But he don't have any. He's not slipping punches. So with De Los Santos bringing that pressure like that, and him using his hands and his feet for defense and offense, it just looked real bad because he never stopped on a dime to throw a counter or slip and take away De Los Santos punches too much. I think about 80, I would say about probably 90% of his defense is moving around the ring. So, with a pressure fighter and him keeping that range and distance like that, it just looked really, really, really bad. You know what I mean? As far as the entertainment factor of it all. People come to see a fight, and they coming to be entertained. They coming to sell, they coming to buy those tickets and be entertained. So Keyshawn is definitely gonna. That is in the forefront of his mind. He's really, him and his brothers are really ready to put on a show. The mental part of it, just seeing if the businessman is doing a little bit too much business, just doing a little bit too much business, and not focusing on a systematic game plan, because he keeps saying he's gonna knock him out, I'm gonna knock him out, knock him out, knock him out, and you know, he's a puncher. He's a puncher. He's explosive. He come to fight. He looks focused. His words wasn't that long. He wasn't. They asked him questions, and he told Keyshawn, he was like, things don't always go as planned. You know what I mean? Basically, you keep saying you're gonna knock me out. Things don't always happen like that, Playboy. Yeah. Things don't always happen like that, cuz. So, that FOFA, look up that acronym. That FOFA. He got them Scud missiles to slow down a little arsenal. If you coming in and trying to show out a little bit too much, you know what I mean? Anyways, that's my take on the Keyshawn De Los Santos fight. I think it's gonna be really interesting. I think it's gonna be a trial by fire mentally on Keyshawn either way. Win, lose, or draw, because it's going to be some spots in there where you got a dangerous southpaw, and when you're facing a southpaw, your lead foot is everything. Your lead foot, your jab, and you taking away his straight left hand and be cautious of his jab, his right jab and his right hook. And a lot of times when I see Keyshawn fight, he moves the wrong way with a lefty. In my opinion, he move his transition his transition supposed to be mostly to his left to take away that southpaw's right and to stay away from that southpaw's straight left hand. He's in the middle a lot because he's trying to do damage to the body. After you do damage to the body with that southpaw, your exit is to the left. So we're gonna, and if he is in De Los Santos' wheelhouse, even if he's leading, it's still it's a dangerous situation to be in. So we're gonna see. Want to see what the game plan. Like I like to see what the coach is talking about in the corner each round. So Bomac he's a good coach. He's an excellent coach. So we're going to see what the game plan is, and we're going to see if Keyshawn can keep the game plan. Like I said, it's going to be a trial by fire mentally, because it's when he got off the stage and he was calling everybody out. He was calling out. He was talking trash to Nahir. He was talking trash to De Los Santos. He was talking trash to Abdullah, and when he got off the stage, he was dapping up all his homeboys. You know what I mean? I mean, they was like lined up against the wall. So sometimes those things can take you out of focus, and that can be a recipe for a disaster and an upset. So we're gonna see what Keyshawn is going to do if things get a little hot and he can't get that knockout, and he can't. I think it's gonna be a game of patience. You know what I mean? When you saying that when you keep saying you're gonna knock somebody out like that, sometimes the patience go out of the window. You got to be real patient with somebody like De Los Santos. So, and a lot of risk that Keyshawn take with a lot of his opponents, which I think are nowhere near of a threat like De Los Santos is. When you take those kind of risks, like I say, If you close enough to knock somebody out, you close enough to get knocked out. So if he's impatient, if he's, if it's a little lull in the fight and the crowd gets how the crowd they get the booing and all that kind of stuff, especially if you talk as much trash as as Keyshawn talks. So the crowd gets the little booing and all that kind of stuff like that, and they get the they want to see blood because that's what people come to those fights for. They coming to see blood. And Keyshawn has had some impressive knockouts. You know what I mean? To the body. That last fight, those 2 shots to the body, with the guy he took the belt from. I forget his name. I'm real bad with names. He looked real impressive. He took a lot of risks to get to that body like that. De Los Santos ain't he a whole nother fish in a whole nother bowl, baby. So, I think that the trial by fire is going to be Keyshawn's patience in front of his home crowd and sticking to whatever the game plan is, and see if he can systematically break De Los Santos down with range and distance, transition, with him being able to transition from offense to defense and getting him and picking his shots and working his jab, and then trying to break him down, and if it's not there, you just need to take that dub and keep it moving and keep your belt. But if he tries to get in there and trying to rush something, he can get caught. Because Keyshawn get hit a lot. To me, I'm a defensive coach. He gets hit too much. But like again, I say he take a lot of risks with guys. You know what I mean? And sometimes when you keep doing certain things in a certain fight, a certain string of fights, or you doing things in practice, you in the gym and sparring, that stuff shows up in a fight. Either you got good habits, bad habits, things you need to tighten up on, demons you haven't faced yet. Some people got problems with movers. Some people got problems like with Caleb Plant. He got problems with pressure fighters. You know what I mean? It's like, 3 Mexican fighters that he lost that brought pressure. You know what I mean? Benavidez brought pressure. Resendez brought that pressure. And what's the other? I can't think of the other. Canelo. Wow, the Canelo brought that pressure, and those demons. You could tell he just didn't face in the gym. You know what I mean? His gas tank went out. He wasn't able to work in the pocket. You know what I mean? If you in this game, if you don't have no mid-range game, or you're not able to work in that pocket when people close that distance, when you step up there and you fight them elite fighters, it's gonna show. So, and if you don't have patience and you used to taking risk and you want to please the crowd all the time and you trying to get a spectacular knockout all the time and you dapping up your homeboys and all that kind of stuff like that, it can show. It can show. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see that. That's the mental trial by fire that I think that Keyshawn is going to go through with De Los Santos. And I don't want to put this asterisk on it because I don't want to take nothing away from Keyshawn, but if De Los Santos is hungry, he is healthy, and he had like this calm resolve, and if he's focused, he seems to be mentally aware, I think that's going to be a test on the young man. I think it's going to be a test on both of them. You know what I mean? But Keyshawn is the star. He's the one carrying the whole show. You know what I mean? But City on my back. You know what I mean? You got Mike Vick and everybody out there. So you gotta stay focused especially the higher up you go, you know what I mean? And like I say, you know, him calling out Abdullah Mason and Nahir Albright and all that kind of stuff like that, you know, like those are the spices that's in that gumbo, boy, that can call that upset. So, but we're gonna see what it is, man. June 7th, everybody locked in. This is my small take on Keyshawn and De Los Santos. I'm eager to see it. So just stay dialed in, and we're gonna take it from there. And make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share, and be looking out for Toe to Toe TV. We got the Toe to Toe merch right here. This is our GOAT. You can go to Toe to Toe Savage Apparel. That's TOE number 2 TOE savageapparel.com and pick up the merch. In the meantime, in between time, we're gonna get back at you. Y'all stay locked in. It's official. We're working. We're working now. We're working. Black. Toe to Toe Savage in the front. Yeah, serious. We're working now. We're working. Different apparel coming. Man, we got the big stepper ones. We got the girl power ones. The yoga pants y'all like to rock. Toe to Toe Savage Apparel. TOE number 2 TOE savageapparel.com.